right. Hey, science friends. I'm so excited that you are back with me today. Please let us know if you have any technical difficulties. We're trying a new way to stream to YouTube so we can get all of the comments coming into the same place. I just want to say, if you are just joining us, I know we have some new families with us, which makes me so excited. I can't wait. I know Lucy just signed up, and I'm thrilled that Lucy's going to be coming to science. I don't know if she's here today, but they just signed up, and that made me happy. So if you're just signing up, a little reminder, you want to go get subscribe to our YouTube channel, get the notifications for when we go live, and make sure that you spread the word to all of your friends and family about the science we're doing here, because we are no longer just going for 6 weeks, because that would be a bummer if we were done next week. I don't even know what I would do. I have grown attached to you guys. So we are going all the way through the end of school because Washington State is canceled school already. So we're going all the way until like mid-June. And then maybe we'll figure out what we're gonna do then. Maybe some sort of fun, I don't know. We'll figure it out then. It's gonna be fun. So if it's your first time here, the way that we do it is if you want a shout out, you can type it into our comments and Evan is gonna read those off to me, but I always go over our supplies first. So anybody who doesn't have everything they need can go run and grab it during the shout outs. Today, you don't need much. We're gonna make our own ships in an engineering challenge. I am super excited because Zoom is gonna be so much fun today. We're gonna have like a leaderboard. You guys are gonna try to carry treasure. We're gonna look at pictures you've drawn. I can't wait. Like, engineering challenges are my favorite. And we're doing one today. We're gonna build ships. So you have two choices for your shipbuilding pleasure. You could either build your ship out of foil, or you could build your ship out of popsicle sticks. And if you do popsicle sticks, you could choose to use either hot glue or masking tape to do it. I will say if you do use hot glue, you've got to do it all in one go because once it gets wet, hot glue won't work anymore. But what part of our challenge today is going to be just using that one material. All right, so you only get either foil or popsicle sticks with masking tape or glue to hold them together, and then that's it. And we're going to have two categories so that the people with popsicle sticks and the people with foil aren't competing with each other. And if you don't like to compete, that's cool. Just come and join us and see what you can do. It's so much fun. So you'll need whatever you're gonna build with, foil or popsicle sticks. You're gonna need a whole bunch of pennies because this is the treasure that we are going to put in our ship, and we wanna know how much treasure can we carry away without sinking, because obviously it is no good to get a whole bunch of treasure from the seafloor and then sink your own ship, because then the treasure is exactly where it was before, and that's kind of a bummer. You will need our printout. So on our Patreon page, there is a whole bunch of printouts. I think Evan sent this out with the email that you guys should have gotten in your inbox. It's just a PDF of our lab, and we're gonna use it because some of the pages have space for us to draw things and to record our findings. There's also 2 other challenges in here for your shipbuilding fun. So if you really want to continue after our Zoom today and you want a new challenge, there's 2 extra challenges in there, which are awesome. And then you guys probably don't really need this. I need this. I needed a bucket of water so I can test my ship, but you probably have a sink, and that will be totally fine if you have a sink. If you don't have a sink nearby, but you do have like a bucket or a pan of water you can use, you could grab that too. So that is what you, oh, and a pencil, because we're gonna draw, because engineers love to draw their plans. It's so important. Like, even in physics, not even in engineering, with a problem, not even when you're making something, you draw it first. Like everything, you draw everything. It's amazing. So you need a pencil so you can draw. And that is what we need today. So let's see who is here with us today, because I know we had a few families who were here before we even were like live. They were already in the comments box trying to get first.
All right, so first up were the Hurts, Jacob, Megan, and Taylor.
Hello, Jacob, Megan, and Taylor. You guys beat out George and Henry for the first time this week.
But
I wonder if it was close.
George and Henry were right behind.
It was close. George and Henry right behind. They almost had like a streak going. But the Hurts, they
just jumped in there.
They jumped in there. Good job, Hurts.
We have Rachel. She's here with exclamation marks.
Yes! I love exclamation marks.
And
I'm here too with you.
We have Naomi's here.
Hello, Naomi. I'm super excited. We helped Naomi problem solve the first project we did this week, and it was working in Zoom yesterday. Awesome.
Venetia's here.
Venetia's back! Yay! I missed her. Is this her first day this week,
I
Venetia?
think they came in late yesterday or one of the other days, but...
I feel like this is my first shout out to Venetia.
She's here, and this is the first time her name just rolled off my lips. I didn't have to pause for 10 seconds.
I've been nosy now. I figured it out, but, you know.
Guess who? We saw Sue and Elliot, and Elliot made it today. He's here.
Yay! Hello, Elliot. I'm excited. Elliot has like a little gaggle in his neighborhood that are doing science.
That's
like
awesome.
in all their little houses. They're being good about being social distance, but like they have like a little hood of science.
Science hood.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
We have Connor here today.
Hello, Connor, and maybe Grayson if Grayson's with you.
There's no Grayson Mark, but he's there. The Hall kids are here.
Oh, hello, Finny, India, Coco, and Poppy. Sorry, I had to go through. I did it out of age order. My apologies, Poppy.
We have Raiden, and he says hi to the whole Dr. Erica family.
Hello, Raiden! And I will tell Isabel and Georgia that you say hello. They're going to join us in Zoom for some shipbuilding. Isabel is excited. She's pretty thrilled. I think she's doing popsicle sticks.
So it looks like Max and Shelly are here. Kilburn.
Oh, Max is here! Yes! Hello, Max! Oh, they just signed up like yesterday. I'm so excited. You're going to have fun building ships with us. It's going to be amazing.
And then Barbara and Leonard from France.
Yay! Bonjour, Barbara and Leonard! I need to say, I need to learn how to say good afternoon.
We need to learn like a new word.
I need to learn a little French. Maybe you guys could email me a little French snippet.
So Venetia says they don't have popsicle sticks and they can't build with foil.
Ooh, no popsicle sticks, no foil. What about paper?
Paper can work. I don't know.
Paper and masking tape. We'll do paper and masking tape. You don't need tape with foil because foil you can scrunch and it will hold itself. But maybe if you don't have foil or popsicle sticks, you could use sheets of paper. And your boats will like not be, I mean, it would be like having a boat made out of paper mache and you might be sailing with your treasure and just like, it starts to like make holes in your paper as the water eats through.
Well, there's Curious George, you make the boats out of
yeah, you can totally make boats out of paper. So if you don't have these guys, if you can't do those, definitely grab some paper. You can fold it up and figure it out. And use tape though, if you have paper, because it won't work the same as foil.
Guess what? Our friend from Boston, Fiona, is here. Shooty?
Fiona?
And she wanted to say hi.
Fiona? How are you?
We might
I wonder if she's with her nieces and nephews doing some science.
I don't know. I wonder if they're allowed to talk to each other.
I'm excited. I'm excited she's here.
Alex Hegstad said hi.
Hello, Alex. How are you? He's part of like Elliot's the gaggle.
He's part of the gaggle.
He's part of the gaggle. I'm pretty sure they're like, there's a gaggle.
And the wolf said that they were literally typing when the Hertz.
Oh my gosh.
So
George
close.
and Henry. You missed out on your streak. You were typing when Taylor, Megan, and Jacob came in. Good job, Taylor, Megan, and Jacob. Like, got in under the wire.
We got Jack Sloan. They said hi.
Hello,
Jack.
Jack.
And
Jack had some great stuff he did yesterday.
Venetia is really unsure about the paper. She wants some encouragement. Paper
You
will
can do
work.
paper. Watch. I'll show you, Venetia. I'm going to show you. I'm going to use a little piece of paper that I was going to use later, but that's okay. Check it out. I'm going to make a super simple one. Maybe not the one you should make, but I just want to encourage Venetia that we can totally do this with just paper. Alright, so I'm just going to like do a couple folds. I'm not even going to use tape because I don't have tape on my table. But you could use tape. I'm going to do some folds. I'm going to like smush it down like this. Oh yeah. I'm going to smush it. We're going to put our water over here. And we're going to put it in. Oh, look at that, Venetia!
It's
paper works.
With just paper.
Just paper. So you can make it with paper. And this, you can do better than this, Venetia. I know that you can do better than this. This looks like almost like I wadded up a piece of paper and threw it in. Which could work. That could be a cool ship. Who knows? So you can do paper. It just, the longer it sits there, the weaker your ship will get. But you could still make it in paper and then test it and record your findings. So you can still be a part of the fun. Please, Venetia. And I'm super excited. In Zoom, you're going to show me your paper one.
And what you might want to do is remake, if you want to remake it, like each version, if you decide to make multiple versions of the ship, don't like unfold it because some of those folds.
Yes, yeah. For paper, I would use a new sheet of paper for everything. I lost my bouncy balls behind you.
Oh.
Do we have any other shout outs?
No other shout outs. You ready to go?
Let's go. I was going to get like one of my little demo pieces that just fell off the table. Well, that's cool. So this week we have been doing a lot of pirate stuff. We've been learning about how things float or sink. So we made these awesome little jars with blobs of oil that have a neutral buoyancy. So remember, if you have positive buoyancy, you go up. You have negative, you go down. And if you're neutral, you're just like hanging out. And so neutral buoyancy would be great if you're like a submarine or a fish, but you also probably want to have a positive buoyancy if you're a person sitting on a ship. Mainly because like Titanic stopped having its positive buoyancy and sunk. Nobody wants to be on that door shivering. So that was one of the things we learned about buoyancy. The other thing is we learned that the size of the amount of air that we move out of the way for the water helps determine if we have that positive or that negative buoyancy. So I've got this little guy in here that has a tiny little bubble of air, and if I squeeze this, I shrink that bubble. So I make it smaller and I change the buoyancy, and I can make this little piece sink. And that was like our project from yesterday. So I can change whether or not it sinks or floats based on how much water that air bubble is moving away. And all ships work like that. So that's how we have these huge aircraft carriers that have planes and trucks and like have like, I don't know, how many people on an aircraft carrier? Like 1,000 people?
5,000 people.
5,000 people and like a ton of planes and like a plane? Planes do not float. So how is this aircraft carrier managing to float with a road and planes and 5,000 people and 5,000 people's stuff and food for 5,000 people? That is a lot of weight. And I'm pretty sure it's not made out of wood. Because you might be able to say, well, if it's made out of wood, wood floats. But aircraft carriers and planes, definitely not made out of wood. So they're made out of steel. So how does that work? How can a boat hold up a plane? And the answer is really in this little bottle right now. This bubble that I can shrink and make it sink, or I can make bigger and make it float, that bubble is the aircraft carrier pushing the water out of the way, and it's creating an air bubble. Because you'll notice if you're in an aircraft carrier or a submarine or on a sailboat, in a kayak, there's sort of, your ship sinks a little in the water. So you have this air bubble that you created. That's the whole of your ship creates this air bubble. The bigger the air bubble you create, the more stuff you can carry. So if you're an aircraft carrier, you gotta move out a whole bunch of water. So you make this huge air bubble that gives you this big positive buoyant force. And then you carefully add on your planes and make sure you don't add too much. Because if I do add too much onto the aircraft carrier, it will sink. And nobody wants that, right? Or if, like in the Titanic, I puncture that hole and my air bubble goes from being this big and it starts to shrink, just like in this. If I start to shrink that air bubble, no good. You're going down to the bottom. So what you want to think about today as you build your ships is how can you create something that will be stable and also create this nice air bubble around you. So you guys have a fabulous little lab. And you can skip some of this. This is stuff that I've done a long time ago, but it's sort of like an all-in-one thing. So if you want to like really learn about like all the stuff with buoyancy, we can do that. And one of the things in here, there's like all these like little tiny, little mini, what do I want to call it? Like a mini lab. And one of them is looking at a ping pong ball and a golf ball. And I don't have either, but I do have a marble and a bouncy ball. Now, one of these is sort of really small, but really dense. So it's really heavy for the size that it is. It has a large gravitational force. It's got a big thing pulling it down. This one's really light, so it doesn't have as big of a gravitational force. And you'll notice this one, its air bubble is gonna be the size of the marble. So it's not gonna be very big. And the question is, will that air bubble be enough that it creates when it pushes the water out? And it's not technically an air bubble, it's just like this negative space that keeps that marble inside the water. Will it push out enough water to make that marble float? You guys probably all know the answer to that. Because if I put a marble in water, it sinks. So if that marble was lighter, if gravity wasn't pulling on it so hard, it actually might float. If I had a wooden bead, which is less dense than my glass, that would float. I also have this awesome bouncy ball, which is slightly bigger, so it's gonna push more water out. This is gonna have a bigger buoyant force, right? Because if you imagine the air bubble is the size of this guy that's underwater, it's a bigger bubble that it creates. And it doesn't actually, it's not getting pulled down as much because it's not as massive. And if I put that in there, it actually floats. Just barely, but it does float. So you want to think about how can you move more stuff out? The more you move out, the more you can carry. I bet if I even put in a penny, if I tried to balance it on top, it would probably sink the whole thing because it can't, yeah, see, it would sink if I could actually put it on top because it can't carry that. And when you're making your boats, you want to make the biggest boat possible so that you can carry the most treasure, except for every engineer has constraints, right? We don't have like infinite steel. If we did, our world would look very, very different. So you have a certain amount of space that you can build your boat. And to make it fair for everybody, your boat has to fit in this white rectangle right here. So if you make something huge, awesome, we can still check it, but you won't be a part of our little awesome competition that we're gonna do. All right, and so if you're building with foil, I wanted to show you guys kind of really hitting home about the shape of things and how the shape is really important. So I have some equally sized pieces of foil here. So same material, pretty much the same mass, and I could make boats out of all of them. Now I could take one boat and I could fold it up really nicely like this. And you'll notice that it's not gonna move very much water out of the way when I do this. In fact, it probably won't move much at all, but maybe it's enough that it will still float. So I could take this one piece of foil and I could put it in here and I could see what happens. Ooh, that one sinks. I could take another piece of foil and I could just crumple it up as much as I can, like this. And maybe that's the boat that I want. And that one's better because it floats. So it's actually it's taking up a lot more space, right? If we look between these two, one of these is taking up a lot more space in that water and it floats because of that. Or I could make something that maybe looks like a ship, and maybe I do it like what I was showing Venetia earlier. Maybe I just make sort of like a old school rowing boat ship. And you guys will find all these cool ways to maybe make these. Maybe I do something like this and I try to bend it down somehow. So I have like a little boat making thing. Now you'll notice, whoa, this is gonna take up way more space. This one might be able to hold some treasure. Not sure about it. This one, however, look at that guy floating. I could put in some pennies and I could see how many pennies do I need to put in to make this ship sink. Now, all my friends at home, adding your pennies is really strategic. So hopefully right now, you guys might be able to see, my ship is sort of leaning to one side. If I put more pennies on that side, the water is gonna breach over and it's gonna mess up all that water that I was pushing out of the way. It's gonna come fill in the space and my ship will sink. So I could try to strategically put some pennies on the other side. So it's really important that even after you've engineered your ship, you think about where you're gonna put the pennies. And I'm putting a whole lot of pennies in here. Look at that. And this is not even as big of a boat as you guys can make. You guys can make a bigger boat than me. Which is why I mentioned maybe have about $2 of pennies on hand. Ooh, I'm super close. I'm gonna put some in the back maybe. Raise the front up. Oh, it's so close. So close. It's like at the edge. I can see it. Water tension is really my friend right now. Oh, there it goes. So I have breached my ship, and then once that happens, right, I'm no longer pushing the water out, the water fills it in, and I sink. So for our challenge, once that happens, you can take this out and you can count all of the pennies that you have, and you can let us know how many pennies you have. So that is sort of what we're doing, but first, before we do that, we have to draw. Because engineers love to draw, and engineers always go back and they say, what really worked and what didn't work? Because maybe you could change it. So we're using this rectangle as a spot to draw, but it's also going to be your testing piece. So your ship cannot be bigger than this rectangle right here. It can go tall, but it can't be bigger than that. It can't be wider or longer than that piece. But we're also going to use it to draw. So this past ship I just did, if I were to draw it, it would look something like this. Maybe I should draw in black pen so that it can show up on camera better. You should draw in pencil though. So it might look something like this is what I had. Something like that, and it was open at the top like this, and I sort of had these seams. That's how I cobbled it together. And now I might say, I don't know, maybe that's 40 pennies. So it says the way to treasure, so maybe this one carries 40 pennies. Engineers never stop. It's never good enough. We never stop. So what you're gonna do after you do a test is you're gonna think, what could I make better? So for example, mine, it came out over the edges. The water came over the edges, and I'm curious, like, I wonder if I could make that better. So maybe, I mean, I liked this part of the ship. So maybe I have that part of the ship still. And maybe I add in some like extra foil pieces that I'll like fold in onto these edges. So it'll be kind of like this. Maybe we're off. We'll keep this up there.
We're back.
Okay, we're back.
Wait.
We're back.
Just make sure.
Maybe we're back. We might have gotten disconnected. I'm not sure where. Do you know where we left? Maybe if somebody can see us, you should comment to let Evan know. He's my IT guy. Are we back for shipbuilding fun?
Dropping frames.
It's gonna look really funny if we're still on.
I don't know. Okay, they can see you.
You can see me, but can you hear me?
They can see. Yeah, you're on.
Okay. I was being silly. All right, we're back. I don't know where we lost you guys at, but
redesigning the thing.
Oh, so we're redesigning it. Okay, awesome. So I made this redesign, and I thought maybe if I put some bibs out because it came over the edge, and maybe if my bib sort of comes out and goes up, that could help. Maybe I just want to make it so that it's like a pouch. So maybe I want to like, maybe instead of having that opening, maybe it's like a coin piggy bank. So maybe it's almost like a submarine. That could be another way that I could try maybe, and like have like a little slot here so that the water couldn't get in. So that might be a way, like maybe this is all crumpled here. But what if it flips to the side? See, engineers are always trying to think about like, ooh, what's gonna happen that's wrong. Maybe it flips to the side and then this hole gets all filled up. And I don't have glue or tape if I'm doing foil, so maybe, maybe I put some like outriggers somehow, like some stabilizing pieces of foil that will help it stay stable. That might also help. So that's something that I could try. And then you could go back to the table. You could grab another piece of foil. And the goal is to do better than last time. But sometimes as engineers, we have like this amazing first idea and we're like, ooh, we can improve it in all these different ways. And then like we do it and we test it and it's terrible. Like totally terrible. And that's okay. That happens. Sometimes our first idea doesn't work at all. That's okay. Sometimes that happens. The whole goal as a scientist, like we don't know the answers. Engineers, we don't know the answers. We can use what we think will happen, and then we test it, and then we try to make it better. And if it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, awesome, because you probably learned something. That's the whole goal. All right, so I'm gonna try, I think I like my submarine kind of idea. Like, it's gonna be like a submarine thing. So just an idea on how to fold your foil. You wanna try to like not make rips in it, because that's, water is really good at finding sort of your weaknesses. So I'm gonna want all this stuff at the top, like this. And I'm feeling like I might be a little bit too big right now, but I don't know.
we'll work on that in a minute. So I got like this stuff going here, and then I was gonna do this idea where there's like a coin spot. So I'm gonna just sort of like pop all this down and maybe really seal these edges up as good as I can. Water's really good at finding it though, so if I don't seal it or there's like a bad edge, I might be like the Titanic. We'll find out. This kind of looks like a, what is that? A calzone. This is reminding me of a calzone right now. All right, so I might be able to do this. And maybe it works better than my other ship. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. So I'm gonna go for this where it's like really like a piggy bank-esque. And I'm gonna try to add some outriggers to make it sort of more stable. So this is the process that you wanna go through at home. And on Zoom, the first thing I wanna do is I wanna see everybody's awesome drawings. And then we can look at the drawings, we can share our drawings, and then I wanna see people's tests in action, because that sounds pretty awesome. I feel like I'm gonna try like this, like wings or something. Oh, that's not gonna be long enough. I don't know, let's give it a go. Maybe these are like, no, that's not gonna work. I don't think that's gonna work. Which is fine, because I'm just gonna try something different. I'm gonna try like this. I'm gonna try like these little wings. I'm gonna hope that maybe those wings like prevent the ship from shifting too much. That's sort of my goal with that, but I'm not sure if it'll work, which is why I'm building it to see. Because that was a problem I had with my last ship, was it wasn't very stable. So I'm gonna try like this. It looks like a little airplane. All right, so I could now test this, and I can see then, will this hold? Ooh, except for, this is like way too big. I need to like move some of these in. We're gonna move some of these little stabilizers in. So that I'm more likely, I should have tested it when it was dry, but I forgot. All right. So I have these little outriggers on there, and I could just start dumping pennies in like this, and we can see, can I do more pennies than last time? So let's say your first ship gets 5 pennies on it. That's fantastic. If your second ship gets like 7 pennies on it, guess what? You improved. Even if somebody else's ship gets like 50 pennies on it, no big deal, because yours improved. Your goal is always for improvement. Ooh, am I hitting the bottom? I don't think I'm hitting the bottom. I don't have water in there yet. It's looking good. I need to get some up here though. I need to get some pennies towards the top. And maybe that's something that I do next time. Ooh, maybe I can put them up here. Stack them up very carefully. Right here. Ooh, no, I'm taking on water. My ship is going down. Oh no, mayday, SOS. Lost our treasure. So that one went down, but it was a little more stable. I didn't have that side to side. So those little wings worked like I wanted them to, but I'm kind of thinking that like my calzone idea made it so that the bottom of my ship had some seams in it. So maybe that's something that I can work on in Zoom. Do we have questions on YouTube?
We have requests to check out the popsicle stick version.
Oh, yeah, popsicle stick version. Let's do it. I don't have tape with me, but let's do a popsicle stick version. All right, so let's say I've got popsicle sticks. And popsicle sticks are really fun because they're nice and structural. So maybe I build like a raft. Maybe I take something like this and I build a raft. And let's see, do I have masking tape close by? We're gonna wait while we grab some masking tape. I do have masking tape close by.
Do you want a hot glue gun?
No, I'm gonna go with masking tape. I sort of found a hot glue, like it's great, except for you can never edit your ship because once hot glue gets wet, it's really, it doesn't hold as well. Now I'm gonna line these up like this and stick some tape down like that. Now the popsicle sticks, I would personally imagine should be able to carry more weight in pennies than the foil, and that's just because wood will naturally float. Which is why we're gonna have 2 different sort of pieces. And maybe, like this could work really great, but once water comes over my edges, I might be in trouble. So I'm gonna try to make sort of an edge like this. That will give me like a little side piece. I'll put that in there like that. I'm gonna have to figure out something for all these little wavy pieces. that could be a problem for me. And I'm sort of thinking through, like, what could go wrong and how can I fix that before it does go wrong? Because I want all the treasure. Yar. Alright, so I do need to figure out something for this. You could cut your popsicle sticks for sure. Let's see if maybe the tape will hold. I don't know. Tape likes to be sticky when it's dry. Tape is not so good when it's wet. But let's give it a go. So here's maybe something like that. And then I need to maybe tape these sides together. Now tape should be used as a structural thing, not as something that's really making your boat go. So you don't use the tape as like, use the tape to hold stuff together, not to actually build your ship out of. So I'm just gonna make a corner cross here so that it kind of stays in place as an idea. And of course, this is not the only way or even the best way to make this. I usually like to make sure I don't do anything in the best way so that somebody else can show me the best way. And sometimes I don't even know what that is. I have seen a lot of ships being built in my classes before, and I will say there's going to be some tough competition. We have some great shipbuilders out there. Alright, so I think this is going to be my little ship right here. I've just made a very simple sort of raft that has an edge, and we can see how it goes.
Kaya just showed up.
Oh, hi Kaya!
It's always okay to show up late or
It's always okay.
do the project whenever you want to.
I know, yeah, we are not coming knocking at your door. We just want you guys to have fun with science and feel supported, and if you can make it every day, awesome. If you can't, just as awesome. Alright, so let's test our popsicle stick boat now. And I just happen to have a lot of lovely pennies inside this sunken ship, so we'll just start adding them on. So same thing, if you feel like it's really strong, you could add more than like one at a time. But I can start adding these guys, and I am realizing very quickly, the one problem I have is maybe the seams between my popsicle sticks. Maybe I should have done a few layers of popsicle sticks that were sort of offset to help that. Because I kind of feel like water's going to come up those seams. But who knows? Oh, yep, it is. I have right now, because I don't know if we can get a picture of it, it's starting to sink. And I'm seeing water coming in, so I'm not going to add any more pennies to it. Because I know that my ship couldn't actually carry more weight than that. So that is the weight of my popsicle stick ship. And there are probably a lot of ways we can improve that. So there's an example of that for you guys. Now it doesn't even want to float even a little bit. And so if you're making popsicle sticks, you can think in all different ways. Maybe you do want to make a shaped hull like I made, and that could be really useful. And maybe double layers is helpful, because maybe if you tape the two layers together and you get it really good, it'll help with that. Maybe it'll help with the buoyancy too. I mean, there's a lot of ways to make this better.
Jack already has 54 pennies.
What? Seriously, Jack? Did you use foil or did you use popsicle sticks?
I'm guessing foil.
We're gonna get a scoreboard coming up.
Yeah,
for anybody who wants to participate, again, no pressure and no big deal. Like, Jack got 54 pennies, which is awesome. If somebody else gets 5 pennies, awesome. Because that's where you're at, and that's super cool because you can still try to make it better. And I've had people who made their boats, and like the first time they made them, it held maybe like 5 or 10 pennies. And they ultimately, like, they just kept working at it, and by the end of the day, they were carrying like 200 pennies. Like, 200! Think about that improvement. That is like a massive improvement, which I think is super cool. That's always what we're going for. We're always going to beat our best score. Just a little reminder on that. All right, so that is our lesson for today, and I want to meet you guys in Zoom because I want to see everybody's awesome drawings, or if you have something already made, I want to check it out, and I want to watch everybody. We'll probably go mostly gallery today so that we can watch people as they're testing, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then you guys can report back to me, and we'll have like a little board going on for our PRs. And I always, on my boards on my PRs, I always really like to say like, hey, you got a PR. Like if Jack gets 56, he gets a PR. If you got 5 first and then you get 7, you get a PR too. It's pretty awesome.
We have a couple more.
Some more already. Results are coming in. Stay tuned.
We have Henry already got 113 pennies.
Henry, 113? Oh my goodness, that's a lot of pennies.
Megan got 150 pennies.
Nice job, Megan. Are you beating out Taylor and Jacob?
Kaya just got 23.
Nice, Kaya. And Kaya joined us late too. That's an awesome job.
Raiden got 15 already.
Good job, Raiden. I know Raiden can do better. Raiden's come to my shipbuilding challenges before. He's a really good shipbuilder.
And then here's a link. So yeah, we're ready to go to
Zoom.
Zoom, it's open.
All right. So we're gonna head on over into Zoom. Evan's gonna get that opened up. It always takes a couple of minutes to get it sort of figured out and good to go. And if you want to come join us, that link is on our Patreon page. Make sure if you want to get all of our downloads and be in our Zoom stuff, that you just go on over there and you subscribe to our Patreon page. It helps us keep the programs running, and it's just pay what you can, and we're going to go all the way into June. It's going to be so much fun. I have seriously, I'm up at night giddy about all the stuff we're going to do. I'm so excited. And hopefully when you guys go back to school, you'll be like, science is the best! I hope. That's my goal. Because I think that, clearly. All right, so don't forget to share our message. Tell all your friends about the science that we're doing. Make sure that you like our YouTube page. Give us a thumbs up on social media. And we will see you on over in Zoom in just a couple minutes. Have a great afternoon, guys.
All right, we're going to end that stream.